this is what I want to say about this Georgia Auburn rivalry, sir. I think Georgia Auburn might be the most one-sided rivalry in college football that nobody talks about. Like, I feel like maybe it's because Auburn's not that good, and Georgia, obviously Alabama owning Georgia is sexier than Georgia owning what's been kind of a middle of the road SEC team. But like, you remember the Florida, and maybe we're Georgia centric and nationally people don't talk about it as much, but you remember like the Florida Georgia domination, like it was a thing. It was a narrative publicly that Florida had won whatever they had, like 17 of 19 or whatever kind of streaks they were on. I don't think people truly appreciate how much Georgia kind of owns Auburn. Like, maybe these are famous last words here. We're talking the week of the Georgia Auburn game, but of the last 20 matchups, Georgia is 17-3 against Auburn.
That's crazy.
And that's kind of domination. And so that's Kirby Smart right there. Kirby is now 9-1. Here's a fun fact for you. Auburn Tigers fans and Daniel Denny, I appreciate you watching live, sir. Let me put your comment. 42-10 Georgia. I assumed it said Auburn. I saw his logo, but yeah, he's thinking 42-10 Georgia. I don't think I'm even that confident.
He can't be disappointed either way.
There you go. So fun fact for you. Auburn Tigers fans have never ended a season since Kirby Smart has been the head coach. Auburn Tigers fans have never ended a season with bragging rights over Georgia.
Yeah.
That's 10 years in a row now. The one year they get them, Georgia gets them in the SEC championship a couple weeks later. But yeah, and this didn't just start. So Kirby's 9-1. This didn't just start under Kirby Smart, sir. I think Mark Richt doesn't get enough credit for how he kind of took control of some of Georgia's traditional rivalries. When it comes, maybe Tech kind of did to themselves, but when it comes to Georgia Tech, Tennessee, Auburn, Mark Richt went 10-5 in his, and won 8 of his last 10 as well. So that 8 of last 10, and then Kirby being 9-1. That's kind of where we currently are, because Auburn won 3 of the first 5 in this against Mark Richt, and then he kind of dominated from that 2006 upset game. Georgia really, I don't know if they broke Auburn that day, but they kind of dominated from that point forward under Mark Richt. And then you look at some of the years that Richt actually lost Auburn. 2005. I don't know if do you remember 2005 Georgia Auburn? Is that before your time?
Those two.
But they had like a 4th and 10. Honestly, kind of similar in terms of the 2013 game, just not as fluky. But they had like a 4th and 10, and then they throw like a 70-yard pass all the way down to the 1. They actually scored. Paul Oliver punched it out, and they recovered it in the end zone. But you're not allowed to fumble forward on 4th down. So it kind of screwed Georgia, because then they just got a first down at the 1 and then just ran the clock out and kicked a field goal. There was like a minute left, or like 30 seconds left, I think, when it happened. But yeah, so it's like that fluky play in 2005, and then 2013 the prayer at Jordan Hare, and then obviously there's the year where they had the greatest college football player of all time on their roster, as far as I'm concerned, and Cam Newton in 2010, and beat everybody. But yeah, it's Georgia's kind of dominated this rivalry, sir.
Yeah, which, speaking of Cam Newton, they're retiring his number in the game this week.
Is that right?
That's a pretty big deal. I'm kind of with you. That is probably the greatest college football player ever, and he'll be the belle of the ball when Georgia goes to Jordan Hare. That'll be the focus on him.
Yeah, and that's appropriate, because I feel like 2010 is the year that the Georgia rivalry got a little edgy. It felt like before that, Georgia and Auburn just felt like the same team for like 30, 40 years, like the same program. They're just like good, not really winning championships, but like one of the better teams in the SEC year in, year out. And then obviously the whole, Pat Dye went to Georgia, coached at Auburn. Vince Dooley went to Auburn, coached at Georgia. So you had there's like Auburn, Georgia just seemed friendly until Nick Fairley in 2010 and all that stuff. Then it got a little nasty.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this one goes. But yeah, I think Mark Richt doesn't get enough credit for kind of how he kind of took a hold of this rivalry. Like before Richt arrived, Auburn led this rivalry 50-46 and 8 all time. Like they had the lead in this rivalry. Now Georgia leads 65-56. They had a 9-game lead in this, and obviously Kirby Smart has a huge role in that as well. But yeah, also Tennessee was 17-11 against Georgia all time before Mark Richt, which not nearly as many matchups as I would have thought. But now Georgia owns that rivalry 30-23. So shout out to Mark Richt as always.
Yeah.
Damn good dog. But
I love Coach.